Day one of attempting Rupin Pass in reverse. We have just arrived at Sangla Kanda and the altitude is already 3,400 meters. The views are amazing. The drive was thrilling. And here we go. Hello, I'm Abhishek Sohu. I've been trekking in the Himalayas for more than a decade now. And I spent 5 years working at Decathlon India as a country product trainer. I completed my basic mountaineering course from Nimas, Arunachal back in 2017. And right now I am on the way to Rupin Pass from the Sangla side. We just finished Buran Ghati trek. Now we are traversing in reverse to get back to the other side yet again. This was not the first time that I was attempting the Rupin Pass trek. I had done it previously on 2 occasions back in 2016 and 2017. It was a time when the trek commenced from Dhaula, but since then it had changed a lot. Now the trek started from Jiskun and it cut short the duration by 2 days. In this video I am going to share the following 4 important things with you. Firstly, can you do this trek by yourself without a guide? Second, what is the itinerary that we followed in reverse along with day-wise distance and the altitude gain? Furthermore, I am going to share a quick comparison between the traditional itinerary and doing this trek in reverse. Fourth, I'm going to share with you the costs involved if you're doing this trek by yourself. And finally, I'm even going to drop a surprise location to a hidden waterfall that nobody talks about. We spent a couple of days in Sangla. We enjoyed the Siddu at the Buddhist cafe and the coffee at Kashu bakery. So if you happen to be there, please check these out. Next morning we set out for Sangla Kanda at 8 o'clock. The 6-kilometer journey, which took us to 3,400 meters, took approximately 1 hour 15 minutes to conclude. Only a 4x4 could make this journey. At around 9:30 we commenced our trek. Within 2 hours we reached at the Ronti Gad campsite, approximately 4 kilometers up ahead. While Ronti Gad stood at 3,800 meters, our day concluded when we finally reached this campsite at 4,280 meters of altitude. This was much higher than any campsite we had camped at during the Buran Ghati trek just before this. We happened to skip our breakfast at Sangla and so it made the day very tiring. Thankfully, at the campsite there was a dhaba and the owner was about to pack up and head back to Sangla. However, he was kind enough to cook some Maggi and prepare some tea for us. After a while, there was nobody at this particular location and the nearest human presence to us was at least 4 kilometers away. And it was probably one of the best hot chocolates I had ever had in my life. Our first day trekking distance was 8.2 kilometers. We gained 800 meters of altitude to camp here at 4,200 meters. The day 2 of the trek started a bit early. The distance to Rupin Pass was only approximately 3 kilometers from our campsite and the altitude that we had to gain was 460 meters. The first challenge that we encountered was right after our campsite. There was a lot of verglas along the stream that we had to cross, which made it very slippery. So we simply decided to step into the stream. Now the stream behind me looks quite easy to cross, but anywhere you try to keep your feet, it's slipping. There's verglas, basically a thin layer of ice on all the rocks all around. थोड़ा अंदर रख ले. इस पे रख लो. इस पे रख, इस पे. जल्दी. बढ़िया. Well, since the sun is up and there is very little wind, we have decided to change into our regular clothing, removed our down jackets because with the steep climb we were feeling way too hot.
The trail to Rupin Pass from Sangla side was very gradual, and there was only one steep section towards the very end as we approached the pass. We had set out at 5 in the morning from our campsite, and by 8:30 we had reached the top of the pass at a very comfortable pace. We met shepherds atop the Rupin Pass, and once all the groups had descended down, we decided to get down the Rupin Gully. And while it's rather moderate of a climb, it was very difficult to get down this gully with chances of rockfall on either side, and one slip could cause a grave injury. We had to balance our speed with the fact that we could not slip. So we wore micro spikes and descended down this gully section. Although it took us 1 hour to get down this 200-meter section.
Not going to lie, fatigue had kicked in, body was cold. We rested for almost 1.5 hours on Rupin Pass. Did not have water and I was exhausted, too exhausted. I am exhausted.
We were dehydrated since we were running short of water. It was one day we wish we had carried more than just 1 liter of water for each of us.
I think I finally found some glacial water. Oh God, it's so nice. Oh. Very difficult to fill the water from here without ending up in the stream, but I managed to do that. Finally.
Slightly ahead lay the Rati Fedi campsite, and this was completely covered in snow. So we continued our way down to the Upper Waterfall camp. From Rati Fedi to Upper Waterfall was a very steep section, but the trail was very well laid. By 12:30, we arrived at Upper Waterfall, and after resting for a while, we continued our way down to the Lower Waterfall campsite. The section between Lower Waterfall and Upper Waterfall is one of the most epic trails that you might ever come across. The Rupin Waterfall cascades down to almost 500 meters below, and it's split into 3 different sections, and you kind of cross across it. Carefully navigating the snow bridges, we managed our way down, and by 2:30 we were at our campsite. Rupin Pass could easily be summed up as a trek of waterfalls. Camping at the Lower Waterfall campsite, we were surrounded by at least a dozen of them. We had walked 10 kilometers to reach here from our previous campsite. After gaining 500 meters altitude initially, our altitude dropped down by 1100 meters. At Lower Waterfall campsite, we were at 3560 meters. After preparing some delicious lunch, we enjoyed our evening. Next morning, we did nothing till the afternoon.
It was a really relaxing day. The sun was out. We went and took a dip into the freezing waters of the river, and all our tiredness was gone just like that.
It was only after 3 o'clock that we finally decided to set forth for our next campsite, which was Udaknal. We could have pushed easily to Jakha or Jiskun, but we wanted to spend another day in the mountains.
Such a lovely spot to swim in the water. The water is so calm, and it's actually, I would say, 4 to 5 feet deep over here.
After hiking for 6.5 kilometers, we finally arrived at our campsite. We gathered some wood and lit up a small bonfire. Reflecting back on the trek, it was pretty much clear to all 3 of us that Rupin Pass was more challenging than Buran Ghati, and there were a lot of sections where we could have serious injuries. The Rupin Gully in itself ideally need helmets for safety. Snow bridges at places were not at all safe to cross, and so I would recommend you to undertake this trek with a professional trek leader, or if you're yourself certified as a mountaineer, it is okay to go ahead. Rupin Pass reverse makes absolute sense if you end up clubbing it with another trek, either Buran Ghati or even Budasu Pass, which ends at Jiskun. You can simply drive to Sangla and go back via Rupin Pass. Otherwise, it is best to stick to the traditional itinerary, which is starting from Jiskun, Jakha, and then finally crossing the pass to reach Sangla. On the final day of the trek, we had to walk around 4 kilometers to reach Jakha and another 3.5 kilometers to reach Jiskun. However, we continued ahead to Bauta and further almost 1.5 kilometers to reach at this hidden waterfall. This waterfall is secluded, it's right next to the road, but people tend to miss it. I waited almost a decade to finally take a bath under this waterfall.
We are waiting under an overhang, trying to secure ourselves from rain. For the last 2.5 hours we've been sitting here, waiting for a vehicle to go from here to there, so that can come from there to here and we can go with it. So far nothing.
We waited for the vehicles coming to Jiskun to drop off the trekkers starting their Rupin Pass, and around 3:30 we hopped on a ride back to Chadgaon. On the way across Chanshal Pass, we encountered snowfall. The weather had gotten really bad, but it made the entire experience mesmerizing. You can find the trek cost calculations in the description of this video. And regrettably, I have not shared the precise location of this waterfall. If you want to know the location, you can directly reach out to me, as I do not want to popularize this waterfall and end up ruining it. If you need help with relevant contacts in Jakha and Sangla to organize this trek by yourself, I will be more than happy to share the details with you. I sincerely hope this video was helpful. I request you to subscribe my channel and follow my journey as I set out from Ladakh to Spiti on foot this month.